Bruce, drop him off. Now, for those of you who don't know, last year I got banned for saying cracker. I used it as a racial term against a white person. I got banned for a week. This came, of course, after my mods were unjustifiably banned for using the word cracker in the chat. Cracker, for those of you who don't know, which I will be calling the C word, I guess, throughout this process. For those of you who don't know, is an anti-white slur. It's considered an anti-white slur. This of course is, well, it wasn't even last year. It was like the year, it was entering the last year. Okay. And then Bruce also said it, and he also got banned. This was last year. Apparently, Bruce said it again. There was some drama that I'm not very familiar with. I don't know what the fuck happened. Bruce decided to leave OTK. And then I guess he got like a text message from Miskiff or something that really tilted him. I don't know exactly what happened there. Look, I don't know what happened, okay? But from what I understand, he went on his alt account, The Vent. Big no-no, especially when you are, you got controversy going on and you got people up your ass. Because as we all know, a lot of Redditors and a lot of stans love creating extra outrage. Okay? A lot of Redditors create extra outrage for no fucking reason. What is this? And they try to fucking bully you. They try to come after you, and they try to basically use your weakest moments against you, right? And we're all human. We all have weak moments. Anyway, so let's hear. This is what he said. This is what he got banned on his alt account for.
What I've always known, you can't, don't let you say anything wrong with the white man. Don't critique the white man. They can critique the black man to the fullest and put clips in fast mode and make us look like monkeys all they want to. But, oh, don't you dare say something about white people. Man, that shit's so fucking lame. Fuck them cracker ass niggas. Real shit. And if they ban me for that, then so be it. I will see y'all niggas.
Okay, first of all, I just gotta point this out really quickly. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have this. I would like to make one for maybe even send this one to Bruce. I feel like in his time of need, he is going to need this. Okay, it says present it to Hassan Piker, but I could just like scratch over that and write Bruce, drop him off. I could drop this off if he needs it. This has been very helpful for me throughout troubled times when I wanted to use the word. But like considering that this is a wheat thins plaque, I think that kind of shows you how unserious this entire subject matter is, no matter how much people try to make outrage out of the word cracker. Everywhere else on the planet, everywhere else in the United States of America, people would laugh at you. You can go to a fucking Klan meeting and they would still laugh at the idea of cracker being considered a racial term, except the only place where people do try to make it seem like it's a serious, severe racial term is a place where I guess a lot of gamers thrive, LSF and the like. It's not even the rest of Reddit that unironically agrees with this, by the way. So yeah. So yes, I don't have an issue with this. Obviously, you know my take on this. I've talked about this a million times over. I think that it's really fucking idiotic for Twitch to even take action against it. Let's continue.
Kick. Oh God, literally, fuck all them cracker ass niggas on the internet.
He probably got mass reported. There's a lot of attention on him. He's on his alt account. Probably got mass reported. His alt account, Twitch might not even know belongs to him, and they just ban it.
Talking shit. Fuck them. What they gonna do to me? I got banned for saying that shit. I double down, little nigga. It's you can't be mad.
He also said a bunch of stuff about people kissing themselves, which I think is probably the main component here. I think that there is I mean, if he was talking about people like kissing themselves, then that's understandable that he would get clapped for that. Policing the word is dumb, but I get Twitch acting on this. It's the intent and tone, in my opinion. Bro, no matter what, if I call a hysterical white lady a dumb Karen, okay? Like, that's insane. A stupid fucking Karen, let's say. Like, you're really going to sit there and be like, well, the tone matters there. Yeah, I intended it to be a pejorative, okay? It's dumb as fuck. It's so stupid. No one fucking, like, words have meaning only because of our, like, colloquial association with it, right? And yes, you can manufacture outrage surrounding a word, especially in like a space that loves doing shit like that. Okay? But ultimately, it's context is what matters, and even if you talk about like tone or intention, even if you're saying a word, you can say any word in a hateful way. You know what I mean? Ultimately, an anti-white slur is a slur that oftentimes those who are fucking marginalized are utilizing against those who have the power. Okay? That's why I'm not defending the kiss yourself shit, which I understand. Sometimes you want to say that. Okay? There are people on Reddit bragging about mass reporting him on both channels to the point that Twitch stopped reports or something. Yeah, I assume that is what happened.
At another person's decision, no matter what. Some of these niggas, man, if I was about to say what I was about to say, like, it's facts, but I'm not even gonna bring that up because that's their business. But some of these, the decisions that some of these niggas make in life, period, most of them need to just kill themselves. But
I think this is probably like, that part is like, it's a feeling that we've all had. I myself have certainly wanted to say that to people in the past. That is unfortunately a big no-no on the internet, which I also have an opinion on. I think, like, I've called this humorously the kiss yourself pass. Okay, I feel like you should get kiss yourself tokens. Okay, if people keep telling you to kill yourself on the internet, you should be able to like lock those up in a token, and then pull it out every time and be like, well, I'm cashing in my, like, carbon credits. Yeah, I'm cashing in my kill yourself tokens here. I have 735,000 kill yourself credits. I would like to use one big kill yourself in this moment. You know what I mean? Like, I think because, like, everyone loves doing it. Everyone loves saying it. It's an understandable thing to say. But yeah, I totally get why he would get banned for that. Okay. But the cracker thing is so fucking stupid.
The decisions that they make, but we're not going to speak too much on that though. But I respect his opinion, but what he didn't know is how fucking seven cars were, you know what I'm saying, what happened Monday, what I just expressed to y'all. And the text that he sent me has something along the lines to do with that, saying how it didn't happen. Man, I'm black, bro. I have legal guns in my crib. You know what I'm saying? That is dangerous. Point blank, period.
So I don't know exactly what happened here, but I think he got in trouble with law enforcement. I don't want to talk more about it. I don't want to say anything else because, like, if he didn't fucking mention it, then it's not my place. But I think he's saying, like, as a black person with legal weapons in his house, that is additionally lethal for someone like him to get in trouble with law enforcement over some fucking dipshits on the internet who are you know, doing a thing that we all know. Now, I don't even know if this is misgive. I don't know if he thinks it's misgive or not misgive personally, but like Ms. Kids in his fan base. I don't even think that it's his fault. There are other communities at play here, other communities involved in this that have been like very hypercritical of black content creators for some time now. I don't know if it is him. I don't know if it was his fan base. I don't know if it was other fan bases that have been very critical of black content creators overboard. But I know that it was it was Miskiff that texted him. I know that. I'm saying, but I don't know if he's like correct in making that assertion that he thinks that it was like whoever sent trouble his way. I don't know who is responsible for it, you know? And what I will say is this, okay? What I will say is this. There is an unfortunate reality with like, even if you yourself have like done everything, even if you yourself have done everything you can to make sure you've cleaned out your community of like psychopaths, psychopath hate watchers could still do shit like that because they do that. Not to mention the shit, the fucked up shit that is being said regularly that people don't see. I had to turn off DMs once your haters found out I was black. Yeah. Yeah, this is a, ultimately, black people can't do wrong in general. That's not true. I shit on Candace Owens regularly. Also, that is, that's a very racist fucking take. We know exactly what your background is when you say dumb shit like that, okay? I'm not in the business of like, I have never been, and I will never be in the business of like people being like, well, I'm black, so you're racist for criticizing me. Okay. I think that sometimes assholes use that, but in a lot of other circumstances, when someone is talking about being black as their own personal experience in an overwhelmingly white space like Twitch, there is a tremendous amount of validity to that. Okay. You will not understand it. Like Bruce Lamont, I don't think so. I think that a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying this, and I don't know the exact extent of what Bruce has said thus far. People were saying that he was shitting on Nick Pollum, which I don't appreciate if he was doing that. I like Nick. But I think that Bruce serves a very different audience. Kai serves a very different audience than every other content creator serves. If that is what he was talking about, then that's understandable. But saying Nick's not black is unacceptable, I think. If he said that, which I don't even believe he did, but I would be very surprised. I think people probably jump to that conclusion but I don't think he's like, he might have said it jokingly when they were friends. I don't even know if they're no longer friends or not. I don't know what Nick's perspective is on this matter. But there's a difference between the audience that Bruce, Your Rage, Kai, and so many other, even Aiden Ross, the audience that they serve versus the OTK audience versus every other audience versus my audience, okay? Like my audience is relatively diverse, but still very much white, okay? Just the truth. And for that reason, I think Bruce, when he talked about like, for example, defending Miskiff after the N-word stuff came out and doing content with Miskiff, even after, plenty of members in his community never forgave Miskiff for old statements that were re-released, old things that he had said that were re-released, was Bruce talking about his predominantly black audience not respecting Bruce's decisions in defending what Miskiff had said in his past. I doubt that he would like shit on Nick openly, though. I think that seems a little bit more like drama perverts trying to create like additional narratives. So, what is this?
Yeah, woo! And he do a kick, hey, kick one leg, go for it, hey, do a little twirl.
She like the way that I'm
Yeah.
It's the best birthday ever, Nick.
She like the way that I'm
Yeah.
Nick, no,
Get dirty.
you get dirty.
Get dirty. Get dirty. Okay. Nick, your turn. That was fun.
This is such a complex fucking issue to talk about, especially with an overwhelmingly white audience. It's a complex issue to talk about even in fucking black spaces, okay? But like, because you know, especially if you're talking about like young, like Zoomer black kids who watch W content, it's an incredibly nuanced fucking subject matter to parse through, especially I as a white person. But like, hold on here.
Nick, your turn.
Listen, all I gotta say is Bruce was right, dog. Bruce was right. You know what I'm saying?
What?
I don't know what the fuck. You know.
Yeah, he's joking. Everyone is joking. I've heard some of the stuff that Bruce was talking about. I heard some of the stuff that Bruce was talking about personally, as far as like him saying like he put his brand out there, put his name out there, he put his he put his community out there and went out to bat for Misgift, even though there were still plenty of members in his community that never actually forgave Misgift for what he had said. You guys know what my opinion is on people changing, right? Or people, you know, changing their behavior, their attitude, and accounting for their own personal, personal bigotry from the past. Never forgave Jesus, brother. Like it's not for you. You know what I mean? It's not. You just like I personally am very forgiving, but also I'm white. You know what I mean? I understand that like racism is a byproduct of white supremacist social constructs. So of course a white kid from New Jersey is gonna be fucking fast and loose with the N-word. You know what I mean? As long as they recognize that it's wrong and stop and never do it again, that's the best thing you can do. You know what I mean? That's my perspective on the matter. Okay. And I hope that others can be more understanding as well, ultimately. And I think that, like, you know, black people that are consistently surviving in white spaces, living in white spaces, also are pretty understanding of that, because, you know, they have to be understanding of it. They experience it every day. But if you are otherwise like an audience that is predominantly black, there are going to be people there that are not as understanding, which is also, I get it. You know what I mean? I totally understand. Bruce thinks you can't be racist to white people. Bruce thinks you can't be racist to white people. He's being racist himself. You can't be racist. You can be racist to anyone, idiot. We aren't talking about systematic racism. Okay. Without systematic oppression, racism to a otherwise like dominant group is just meanie bobini words. You get that, right? Like, this is a fundamental concept that some people, even long-term community members, cannot comprehend. Okay? Black people aren't upset because the N-word is a mean word. Black people aren't upset because like it hurts their fucking feelings. It's because it is a reinforcement of the white supremacist systems that they currently are forced to live in. Okay? It also comes with like 500 years of fucking baggage. That's the problem. It's not just, oh man, I'm so sensitive. And a lot of white people, for some reason, and I even understand where they're coming from when they don't get it, but like a lot of white people don't get this. They just think it's like a mean word, and that like that is the reason why you know, their feelings get hurt, and that's the problem. It's like, no, that's not the reason. Okay? That's why when you talk about like heterophobia or when you talk about anti-white racism, it's a laughable concept. Okay? It's laughable because no white person has been harmed by virtue of being white. It's never happened at a systemic level because whiteness as a concept was used as a political tool as your proximity from blackness. It goes back to the one-drop rule. It goes back to slavery. Whiteness was basically an overarching umbrella that like Anglo-Saxons decided to add first the French people, then the Germans, which they originally declared to be too swarthy to be considered white, then the Scandinavians, then ultimately the Greek and the Italians, which are not white, of course, still to this day, in my opinion, and then, you know, the Slavs, and then the Jews. Okay? This is an ever-expanding umbrella of people. And now Latinos as well. Now, the only group of people that will never be white are black people, because at its root, whiteness is about not the color of your skin, but about your proximity to blackness. Okay? That's why throughout history, there were plenty of people who were not considered white that are now firmly within the white category. Okay? That's just how it works. Whiteness is about power. When you're white, you can track your ancestral lineage down to the motherfucking Ellis Island, down to the motherfucking, generations of barbarians. I'm Turkish. I'm white. I come from a country with a history of imperialism, right? The Ottoman Empire. I know what my grandfather's great-great-great-great-grandfather did. You understand? Black people in this country, especially African descendants of slaves, do not have that privilege. And that is precisely why they were forced to create a homogenized black culture, which is rooted in intergenerational struggle and oppression, because black people in this country can't trace back their ancestors because they didn't come here on their own volition. They were brought here as slaves. They were raped, they were sold, they were trafficked, they were killed, they were murdered, and they were enslaved. So that is the reason why there's a difference between black culture, for example, which is an identifiable, tangible thing, and white culture, which is not. That's why people make jokes about white culture. That's why people don't make jokes about black culture in the same vein. Okay? This is a complicated process to understand, so I want to be as charitable as possible to those who don't get it. Okay? But that's the reason why Bruce doesn't believe you can be racist to white people. Okay? Yes, you can be like mean to individual white people, and it's fucked up. You shouldn't like automatically make that assumption. That makes you a mean person, right? In a lot of instances, it's a self-defense mechanism. I talk about it all the time. Marginalized communities regularly put up self-defense shields because of the experience of living in a white supremacist society, because of the experiences that they've had. They're doing it for self-defense, which is still, it's not great, especially when you are doing it to someone who doesn't deserve it, right? And that's mean, and that's fucked up. Discriminatory, okay? But as far as like black people being racist, black people can be racist. Black people are racist sometimes, for sure. But the type of racism that black people engage in is not anti-white racism. It's white supremacist anti-black racism. It's internalized racism as a consequence of growing up in the American schooling system, in the American dominant cultural hegemonic attitudes towards white supremacy, and how normalized it is. There's a reason why even black people come into this community and go, what the fuck? I never learned about the move bombing. You know what I mean? In 1985, when a Pennsylvania city block was literally destroyed with C4 dropped from a helicopter because the Africa family was living there. You know, that's like, there are people who are oblivious. There are black people who are oblivious to black history in this country. And that's because they learn white education. Okay? That is white supremacy. That's a byproduct of living in a white supremacist society. It is by design. That's why you have black people that have anti-black sentiment, for example. So yes, black people can be racist. Okay? Black people can also be like discriminatory towards other races that are non-white as well. Okay? Everyone can. But when we talk about like the racism that we experience or the racism that we understand as like racism, it has some form of power structure behind it. Okay? It has a systemic root, because without systemic oppression or any sort of like contemporary oppression associated with it, then it's just mean fucking words. You're just mean. You're a mean person, you know? That's why I always use the Karen example when we talk about this. Nobody says Karen is the K word, right? The quintessential white lady calling the fucking manager or calling the cops on a black person. You know, no one would turn around and go, this person said, fuck you, Karen. Wow, well, that person actually is being racist to white women. And as a matter of fact, he should be banned. Or that person is being misogynistic and racist to a white woman. Of course, I know the difference between systematic racism versus being mean to someone and using slurs pejorative to refer to their skin color. I can't type. Okay, if you understand the difference between those two, why the fuck are you like riding for this? Why are you riding for this? I say this all the time about like women rad femmes that fucking say shit like, do you think black people deserve reparations? Yes. I don't know why you're asking this question currently, but yes, I do. But for example, I talk about like rad femmes, right? The kill all men. Men are toxic. Kill all men, rad femmes, right? They're fucking annoying. They're rad libs. They're annoying. They're stupid. They're silly. Who gives a shit, ultimately, okay? There is no like mass neutering of men movement occurring in society. And you have to be like an insane person if you believe that is happening. It's like getting upset and genuinely making a political movement out of like a bunch of fucking psychos chirping with no power whatsoever. Okay? It's people that are lashing at whatever they can because they are living with a sense of powerlessness every fucking day. All right? It doesn't even make their concerns valid. Some of them might be, but it doesn't make their concern or their sentiments valid. But it doesn't matter ultimately. It doesn't. And it's the exact same thing as like, you know, someone using the word cracker. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You think there's like serious anti-white racism happening? I think legitimizing this notion that like the C word, especially a funny concept, because like when you say, go out there and say the C word and like it'll be the 7th word that people think is like an actual slur. You got like 3 better ones before you get to that. You know what I mean? But the C word, right? Making a movement out of that, making it like giving it any kind of legitimacy as though it's like a powerful fucking word that is an anti-white slur is really counterproductive, and it's capitulating to white supremacists who often take on this conversation and weaponize it. It is no different than the Quran burning Nazi guy. When he's burning the Quran, he's not doing it specifically to be like, fundamentalist Muslims are actually, genuinely devastating to their own communities. And I think that like Islam has a lot of reformation that it needs to go through. They're doing it specifically because other people are going to get on board with that. And they're going to go, it's free speech. Fuck these Muslims. You're right. You get it? And some people, unfortunately, do jump to that. They do rush to that. And they get baited hook, line, and sinker. So when you sit here and try to legitimately defend the concept of like anti-white racism, when you sit there and try to fucking defend that shit, you are kind of oblivious to the defense that you're engaging for people who have other intentions. Okay?
The guy, he's keeping talking that they have no racism. But not just blaming for him. You have so much phobia.
Oh, it's Tommy Robinson. Oh, leader of the fucking EDL, lad. Tommy fucking Robinson. What's he cooking then? Let's hear it then. Let's hear what he's doing. He's defending England. That's right.
Yeah, Islamic phobia.
You can't keep saying racist without giving me an explanation.
Listen,
please give me
can I just say to you?
At your rally in Newcastle, you stood next to.
Do you think he was fairly banned for the kill yourself comment? Curious on your opinion. Yeah, I think I get why that is there is a outright ban on that. I also understand why you want to say that sometimes. I get it, 100%. But that's a valid ban for sure. Yeah, you can't say that. I mean, I want to so bad. Trust me. I want to say it all the time. I want to say it from the goddamn rooftops. Do you understand me? I want to fucking get on a rooftop and scream it sometimes at motherfuckers, but I can't. And I get it. It makes sense. It makes fucking sense why you can't say that. It does. It does. So if you got banned for the kill yourself comment, like straight up, that's valid. But the C word is fucking ridiculous. Get the fuck out of here.
The organizer, while he was chanting,
complete lie.
Send those.
No, complete
and
lie
I can't
again.
say it home.
Complete lie again. No, it's not on YouTube. No, it's not. It's an edited version. You don't see the person on the stage saying it. It's a lie. It's
so who's saying it?
No one says it. You've edited it. Every time someone has their arm up in the air, that you say it's a Nazi salute. Please, can someone?
Every time I put my fucking hand up in the air and I'm a fascist, right? And I do the fucking Roman salute, you say I'm a Nazi. Oh, why are they saying I'm a fucking Nazi when I simply believe in Nazi ideologies? It's fucking bullshit. God, fascists are so fucking annoying to deal with. Jesus, it's a Roman greeting, innit? Yeah. Why does the title say gay lover attack when it wasn't? Copium, dude. I know Paul Pelosi was clapping them fucking sweet ass cheeks, dude.
Tell me what we say that is racist.
No one is saying that, by the way.
No, can someone tell me what we say that's racist?
So what you're doing is you're generalizing.
We're highlighting truths.
You're generalizing.
The truth is not a lie.
We're highlighting fucking truths, lad.
A whole race
no, I'm not
of
generalising. No, I'm not.
Just on
I mentioned certain
that's
sex.
what's
I mentioned
racist.
certain sex.
By the way, his truths that he's highlighting are like, we need to send the black people back. That's the truth that he's highlighting. And then he's mad that his but by the way, this is Tommy Robinson, for those of you who don't know, who is the leader of the EDL. EDL is the English Defense League. Definitely, they're fascist, straight up. They're Nazis. For those of you who don't know, they're literally out and about Nazis. They don't even hide it. But of course, whenever they're on television, they're like, I'm not a fucking Nazi, mate. Why would you say that? Right? Just a bit of banter, that sort of thing. But they are, okay? And yeah, his real name is what, Yaxley Lennon or something? What the fuck is his name? But they do the same, but they're really fucking stupid. So they're not even very good at defending their racism. They just straight up will say whatever. But again, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, he lives in my town, innit? He's doing just a bit of banter, right? It's fucking banter, mate. We're just saying these Muslims need to leave England alone. They got Islamic ray guns. They got the top of the fucking hour.
This is exactly what I said at the beginning of the program. When we deal with racism, rather than dealing with the structural reality and all this nonsense about people are racist because they're frustrated about their life, it's totally classist. What we're saying, only working class people are racist. Do me a favor. Racism was not invented by working class people. It was invented by elite academics through pseudoscientific nonsense and perpetuated as part of political policy from the top down, not the bottom up. In fact, if we look back at the history of this country, when there were slave catchers in the streets, people had far more allies in working class parts of London they did from rich people who were trying to catch them and send them back to the Caribbean. So let's be honest about the history and deal with the bigger problems of structural racism, because then smaller things and smaller frustrations that are breeding this type of nonsense won't be excavated so much. But this is the problem, is we focus on nonsense like this rather than dealing with why a British soldier you've probably never heard of, a gentleman called Christopher Alder, died in
Man, Akala is so goated.
1999 in police custody. There is footage on YouTube that you can see for yourself of him on the floor with his bottom half exposed, with police officers around him making monkey noises over his dead body. You've never heard his name. Why?
Oh my God, he's literally, he beat his wife Susan extra hard that night, he did. I'll tell you what, Stephen Yaxley Lemon, he's mad. He's proper mad in it. That's right, he's fucking bodied. Bag him up, call the bobbies, it's been a murder. Oh. Some people are tired of tiptoeing around others' feelings when it comes to this shit. Can't expect everyone to carry the emotional labor required to explain why they can't touch my hair or tell motherfuckers they're so well spoken. Yeah, I routinely talk about how microaggressions are to a certain degree things that I'm not going to hyper police in this community, because this is a place for learning, right? Ultimately, like the whole, like this person is so articulate, that sort of shit. But when it comes down to it, like you're not gonna get me on board with the whole like cracker is a serious racial fucking slur thing. And I think that's like a big problem with what the, I guess if that is what the main advocacy is on LSF, like that is ironically what they fucked up on. They should have just like hyper focused on, if your goal is to like make this a legit ban, to make it seem like this was totally valid, then just they should have just hyper focused on the kill yourself part, because that part is certainly understandable. Like that, you will get banned for that, right? But as far as like, oh, he said cracker, like he was talking about white people and he was being racist towards white people, like, yeah, that's so insanely fucking stupid. To be honest, anyone radicalized with the C word probably would have ended up being radicalized anyway. Yeah, if you're like, if you literally personally thought like, if you genuinely were like, oh, I'm at the precipice of like turning a new leaf and becoming a better person and like learning about systemic racism, and then I heard a young black content creator refer to like a young white content creator as a cracker, and I am now like, and now I'm racist, like, dude, that's crazy. Like that is an insane fucking moment of radicalization. Like your fragility was so fucking, your mental fortitude is non-existent. You know? Like what's the goal here? You want to tell every black person like, hey, racism is really bad, but like you got to be fucking nice to white people so they don't like hold up white supremacist structures, reinforce them, and continue being racist. Anyone who says it's impossible to be racist against a particular group is hard to entertain, is not looking for an out to act pretty horribly with a free pass. Okay, but like, while that is true, what is the worst thing that's happening there? Like, it's not like, anti-white lynchings are happening. It's not like overwhelmingly black police departments are like hyper policing white suburbs and fucking killing white people. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening there? Like, what's the worst thing that like, the worst thing is what? Like a black person said, called a white person like a cracker. That's the worst form of like systemic struggle that you're experiencing. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, don't say gringo. Exactly. It's on the same vibes. It's on the same playing field. It's really stupid. It's like being upset at like anti-straight sentiment. Why no straight parade? It's fucked up. And if you think that is like all, it's a bit of a self-report really, because I think that a lot of people who say that that's mean and ruthless and rude and actually really fucked up are basically self-reporting, and they think that like that is the reason why black people are upset about like the N-word. You know what I mean? Because it hurts their feelings. And that's not the reason. Without systemic violence, it's just a mean word.
It's dangerous. It's weird. I didn't give it attention on my main at all, and I'm kind of mad that I'm giving it attention on here, but the shit that people say, I don't care if it's a circle of people that know the real. Y'all don't have to go spread this shit, because I just want y'all to know it. I don't want them to know this shit. It's for my core community to know.
So he got clapped for this, and then he went live on his main, and then he got clapped for ban evasion. I don't know if he got banned for the C word. He has been banned for saying cracker before, just like I have. But he might have been banned for the kill yourself comment, which you can also make an argument like Asmongold didn't get banned for saying that Slick should die or whatever the fuck, and then Bruce did. Because when people are hyper vigilant and they mass report you, you get clapped. It's the unfortunate truth, which is boundaries are very vague. Fuck my V's and W's, dude. It's just fucking annoying. So yeah, that's my take on the Bruce thing. I don't think he did anything that also like. I don't think he deserves to be like permanently fucking banned, but this kind of policing is like seen as totally acceptable, for the record. Like when it's someone who has now become the enemy. Weird that this guy who named himself the Luddy is like doing that. BruceDropEmOff ban evades and goes live on his main channel after being banned on his alt. I fucking heavily doubt that Ludwig would want this kind of fucking shit in his own community, for the record. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool that it's like, it's cool that I have not been paying any attention to LSF, and I will probably continue not to pay attention to LSF, even though the insects are going to come crawling in to try to get me sucked back in. But yeah, I wonder what community is like hyper focusing on this shit. Who knows? We have no idea. We will never find out, perhaps. LSF is light Stormfront today. Yeah, it's just ugh. Only way to win is not to play. Exactly. Yeah, it's just, I hate that. I don't like it. It was cool when everyone was like cherishing and celebrating, you know, the W community popping off on Twitch. But of course, the understandable, inevitable reaction was going to come from a bunch of like young black content creators like blowing up on this otherwise very white space. And the pendulum shift has come. It's swung in the other direction. And now people are being like hyper vigilant about anything and everything that like black content creators do. And it started off originally with like, oh, all black content creators do is yell, you know, and then it turned into this individual black content creator is a anti-white racist. It just sucks. It's really gross. It's fucking shitty. I hope that, you know, this does not discourage other black content creators from like continuing the pop off, which I don't think it will, because they're blowing up still. If there's anything to take out of this, if there's any takeaway here that is like a slight positive, okay, I would say that, especially even on Twitch, like black content creators that serve a predominantly black audience have been fucking demonstrably successful, and that is not slated to change, and that is ultimately a good thing. Okay, so that is different than prior iterations of this war that people have waged in perpetuity on the internet forums. Okay, yeah, Twitch is still a predominantly white space, and its primary demographic makeup is like gamer white nerds. And although that community can be very understanding and very appreciative of other cultures and the experiences of marginalized people, the ones who are the fucking loudest and the ones who post the most and the ones who unfortunately represent it to the rest of the world are the fucking sweaty losers, the basement dwellers, the neck-bearded fucking dipshits who try to manufacture outrage over someone saying a cracker, and they end up successfully doing it. Okay, it's just what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. You just gotta fucking keep your head down and keep pumping out good content and do what you've been doing that has made you successful. Okay, there really aren't that many spaces online for black people either, so that's why Kai and Bruce have popped off so hard. I think even my normie family know who Kai is. Yeah, and it is a good thing. That's all I got. And if you're a white person in this community, and if you still have like a fraction of charitability towards what I say, what I do, and you heard me speak on this matter, I hope that you don't get suckered into like, you don't get baited into defending stupid fucking racist idiots online who try to make it seem by using your like empathetic side, your slant towards empathy to be like, you hate racism, don't you? Well, anti-white racism is a real thing that's happening and actually destroying society, and you should be very upset at Bruce for saying cracker. Like, bullshit.